We are talking about the master playwright, whose words have outlasted the laws of kings and courts. William Shakespeare. He wrote women so brilliant they could topple kingdoms between lunch and supper. Yet somehow, men dominate the conversations. And they prattle on. But is it Shakespeare's fault? After all, this was the era of Queen Elizabeth, the matrimonially independent monarch who kept her husband thoroughly absent so as to avoid the loss of authority. When men were dominant and women subservient. Scholars have hacked his plays like surgeons might, dissecting passion, treachery, and dread, enough to fuel 1,000 soliloquies. But here's my task: no themes or tangled plots. I'm measuring words, the cold, hard numerical truth. Who speaks most? Take this excerpt from the Scottish play. Macbeth speaks 7 words. The witches, meanwhile, chant a marathon. Expand this across the first folio, and what do we find? Women clocking in at a paltry 17%? If we look across the categories, histories and tragedies are tragic. And comedies, at least they are trying, but dismal numbers through and through. Men brandish the word war like oversized broadswords. Women whisper love with surgical precision. Men utter king. Women say mad. They meet on a neutral ground though: death and fair. And here are a few other words they vie for. How about a roll call? Men are mostly listed as royals and dramatis personae. Women not so much. Women mostly play mothers, daughters, and occasional plot devices. Men strut about as commanders, lords, politicians, servants, sometimes just referred to as gentlemen, clowns, and clergymen. A veritable catalogue of authority figures doing their best peacock impressions. Let's dive deeper and list these loquacious legends of literature. Hamlet leads, followed by 11 verbose gentlemen. Rosalind arrives fashionably late at 12th place. But wait, there is the ever garrulous Falstaff. But he, I fear, must sit this contest out. His word count is inflated by 3 plays and a posthumous eulogy. Back to Rosalind, our champion of female verbosity. She's the only lady to outtalk anyone in a play. And here are the top 10 talkative dames. Compared to gents, they whisper in the wings. To put things in context, 4 men alone outweigh these 10 combined. But here's a curious thing about these 3. Back in the day, men played women, but these crafty heroines took it one step further. They spent most of their stage time as women pretending to be men, which means men pretending to be women pretending to be men. It's like a Russian doll of gender roles. Most of their witty words were delivered while sporting male bravado. So much for being talkative women. From Scottish peaks to Syrian desert sands, do women speak more freely in some lands? For every 100 words from blustering men, women squeak out a meager 18 in London, a respectable 47 in Inverness, and there is something rotten in the state of Denmark. It to Rome? Italy shows some promise, but Belmont goes rogue with 92. Thanks to Portia and Nerissa's endless chit-chat. Unlike Venice, which is a man's world. Rosalind reigns over the fictional Arden, and perhaps all's well in Rosillon. The East? A mixed bag of silence and sass. And Cleopatra? 54 grand verse and quite the royal mic drop. Let's wrap up this statistical absurdity with a plot. As You Like It blazes ahead with a whooping 40% female verse, largely because Rosalind refuses to shut up. Comedies dominate the above 25% club, except for Romeo and Juliet. In the 15 to 25% range, Tragedies and comedies battle it out, with a couple of histories loitering. And below 15%, a land of politics and military affairs where women barely get a footnote, except for maybe Joan of Arc, who briefly storms in and promptly exits. So, was the Bard a feminist? After all, he let Portia outsmart Shylock, Beatrice outwit Benedict, Lady Macbeth puppeteer her husband, Cleopatra wield her charm, and yet Ophelia went mad. Desdemona got smothered, and poor Joan of Arc was villainized to dust. His women's strength was not in word count tally, but in the depth of all their tangled souls. No wonder he's still relevant today, even with the modern standards. And isn't that just bloody